In this video, I'm going to be doing something that I rarely ever do, and that is naming specific people that worked on a show. The only reason I'm doing this is because there's no way to both cite my source and leave them anonymous. I want to make it very clear that I do not condone attacking these people. You can say their show sucks, you can say their writing sucks, you can say you disagree with their methodology, but do not attack them directly as people. I am warning you. I am dead serious about this. And since I'm already doing this, I might as well also say, do not attack people who like Teen Titans Go. It is a TV show. You may totally debate with them and argue with them in the comments, but please do not insult them and attack them based upon the show they watch. On my channel, I believe in criticizing art, media, comedy, ideas, and philosophy. I do not condone attacking people. Alright, on with the video. Hey guys, PIEGUYRULZ here, and Teen Titans Go is stupid. Did anyone get offended by that? Well, you probably shouldn't be, because it's pretty much word of God at this point. So after making my second Teen Titans Go rant, a few people sent me these interviews that this comic book website has had with the producers of Teen Titans Go. So this is from an interview about the episode Let's Get Serious. The producer says, one of the things we mostly try and stick to is that we try not to bring any DC characters that weren't in the original New Teen Titans series into our series. But in this case, we had a deadline, we had a story due in 3 days, and we had no script. So we had to write something very fast. And we all had strong opinions about how people view our show. How some people will disregard our show because it's not serious enough, so we decided to jump into that and see if it worked. If everybody wants a more serious version of Teen Titans, well, okay, we'll give you our version of a more serious vision. That's where it all came from. So right off the bat, this quote proves something I've been kind of assuming for a little while now, that with at least this one script, they wrote it in a very short amount of time. Let's Get Serious was a response to fans. It was not anything else but a direct response to fans who wanted the show to be more serious. This was their way of addressing that, and this was their way of saying, hey, if you want a serious show, here's what it's like if we're serious. He continues on, I go online, and this is by far the most hated show of any series I've ever worked on. But it also is by far the most successful. It's the #1 kids cartoon on television right now. It's beating SpongeBob. It's a huge hit. But all the feedback I tend to get is from people who curse it every day, and loudly. Laughs. So there is definitely a little bit of a disconnect between how the show is performing and what I read online. I'm gonna give the guy some credit for this one. If I were in his position, yeah, I don't think I would actually bow to the critics. To be entirely fair, a lot of kids like this show. Now, I never, ever would ever say anything bad about people who like a show I hate. Let me make that absolutely clear. If these people like this show, I have no problem with that. I don't think they're bad people or anything like that. At worst, I might say they have a little bit of a bad taste in cartoons, but other than that, I don't hate any of these people. If you like Teen Titans Go, that's perfectly fine. I'm just voicing my opinion, and I honestly feel it is a really bad show. Continuing on, I've got to give all the credit for Robin to Scott Menville. He played the super serious version of the character on the original show, but he's now gone sort of crazy with his performance. He's been able to take a character from the respectful version that people love into this comedic version. That's insane. Without this cast of people who have played the same version of these characters that comic fans really love, we wouldn't have been able to pull off this show. I give them a lot of the credit. This kind of brings up a problem that myself and a lot of other people have with the show. It is leeching off of the original Teen Titans. It took character designs, it took plot ideas, it even took animation in some cases. It owes a lot to the original Teen Titans. But it really doesn't feel like it honors the original show in any way. It took these really interesting characters and it dumbed them down. It took a show that could be funny among a lot of other things and just made it about being funny. Why did this have to be about the Teen Titans? Why couldn't this have been about original characters? Not as many people online would care that this show existed if it wasn't for the fact that it took something that had already worked before and then reworked it and retooled it into something that's only recognizable aesthetically. And as much as I'd like to say that, oh, all of the success of this show is based on the original Teen Titans, I'm not even sure that that's true. I feel like a lot of Teen Titan Go's fans are, well, young kids. And the original Teen Titans was on in the mid-2000s. I'm sure a lot of these kids haven't even heard of the original series. I really wonder why this decision was made to have made this show about the Teen Titans. Maybe Cartoon Network was thinking that they'd be able to rope in people who were fans of the original show. I guess they didn't expect the show to turn out this stupid and upset this much of the fan base of the original. Continuing, we try to keep things super simple on our show as far as casting. Unless it was a character played in the old series, we try to have our cast cover any voices for new characters. It's our philosophy to keep things as simple as possible and focus on the 5 main characters and what they can do. If Carrie did not play Aqualad in Young Justice, we probably would not have brought the Young Justice crew in. So they admitted to writing the script super fast, basing it on responding directly to critics in a really weird way, and also said that they didn't want to bring in any extra voice actors. Now, I know a lot of shows have a limited voice cast, and that's perfectly fine. The people on that show do have quite a range, but it's definitely not making the show look like a lot of hard work was put into it. A lot of people accuse the show of being lazy, and although putting a cartoon together does require a lot of work, from what this guy is saying here, it really does seem like they're just putting in the minimal amount of effort that they possibly can. Continuing on, when we did a similar episode in Brave and the Bold, we were a lot more gentle about it. It was, hey, give us a chance, we're not that far from what you guys like. With this show, we don't feel there's any chance we can win those people over. Laughs. So this episode isn't about winning them over. They hate the show, and they're always going to hate the show. This is not what the older comic fan wants to see being done with these characters. It's a kid's show, and we embrace it in this episode. I always say that the show is super stupid, and in this one, we push the stupidity and the randomness. So there's going to be a reaction, I expect. Okay, so first of all, that's actually a pretty terrible attitude to take. They hate the show and they're always going to hate the show. I mean, look, I get it. Don't pander to the people who hate your show. But at the same time, is that really the right attitude to take? But that's definitely not the biggest problem here. He says this isn't what the older comic fan wants to see, but I disagree. I honestly wouldn't have minded seeing a Teen Titans show that was more focused on comedy than anything else. I don't have a problem with overly comedic shows. I don't have a problem with these characters being comedic. In fact, before Teen Titans Go happened, there was a chibi version of the Teen Titans called, I think, like the New Teen Titan Adventures or whatever, that ran on the DC Nation block. They were silly, they were short, and they were pretty cool. Does it bother me that they took the complex characters and shrunk them down to be really stupidly simple? A little bit, but if the show had actually been funny, I wouldn't care so much. I mean, come on, look at how Batman has ranged over the years. He's gone from super campy to super dark and back again. Comic book characters can be anywhere from silly to serious. And I'm sure there are a lot of people out there who would hate any Teen Titans show that focus primarily on comedy. But there's some of us out here who gave the show an honest chance. Even if we didn't like the fact that it was Teen Titans characters being used here, I still gave it a chance. If it worked as a comedy, yeah, you could definitely win me over. But that's not the biggest problem with this statement. The biggest problem is that he always says that the show is super stupid. That has to be the most idiotic way and most disrespectful way you could refer to your own show. Really, when I saw this, I was dumbfounded, but hey, if he calls the show stupid, I have a right to call the show stupid. And I get what he's trying to say. He's trying to say that his show is super silly, super weird, super off the wall, etc. But the fact of the matter is, he didn't use any of those words. There's a lot of words that could mean the same thing that he's trying to say here that doesn't involve outright stating that the thing that you spend hours working on for your job, the thing that so many kids love, is super stupid. If a fan of the show calls it stupid, like, oh yeah man, it's just stupid randomness, but it's fun, it's good, I like it, that's one thing. But one of the producers of the show calling it stupid? Well, that just makes me lose any sort of faith that this show could turn out anything of quality. I say this about SpongeBob, that silliness and stupidness are two different things. Stupidity is bad, silliness is good. Silliness is what you want to achieve in these shows. Stupidity is just bad writing. What else can I say about someone who calls their own show stupid? Continuing onwards, The longer we go, the weirder the episodes will be. And it won't just be random. There are things we wouldn't have done in season 1 coming up. One thing I'm really interested in is the complaint that the show gets sometimes that we don't teach lessons. So I want to do a whole batch of episodes that teach lessons. But the lessons that most cartoons teach aren't very valuable. It's obvious stuff like be nice to one another or treat everyone with respect. I want to teach kids super valuable lessons, like the wisdom of investing in a 401k. Let's see if we can do that in a comedic way that will still be entertaining to kids. Really? This is the complaint you want to address? Look, I don't care if your show has morals or not, I just want it to be funny. Though, admittedly, I do agree with him on his point. If you could teach kids something as complex as investing in a 401k in a comedic way, you've achieved something great. That being said, I really don't think Teen Titans Go can tackle that kind of subject. That wouldn't involve Beast Boy and Cyborg using 401k papers as toilet paper or something. This next article is a little bit older, but I decided to use it because it contains 2 of the producers speaking about the comedy in the show and how they go about writing it. It's nice we have some superhero characters made for children, which is a crazy concept. We're going to do an episode, I'm pitching this episode, it's not been written, but it's going to be about how people look at comic characters. They grow up with comic characters and they're like 40 years old and they still want to be marketed with these comic characters that were meant for them as children, because they don't move on to other things. Which is fine, I don't mind that, but then they degrade children-based things. So we're going to do that, but with clowns instead. So the Teen Titans, Cyborg and Beast Boy, remember, they really like clowns. They're going to say, let's get a clown for our birthday. And they have a clown, but it's not the clown they remember. They hate this clown. It's a different clown, and they're going to boo him. So they're going to sort of spend the rest of the episode trying to make the clown a more adult-friendly Frank Miller clown so they could enjoy it. I don't mind making the comic characters grim. I think it's cool, but the flip side of it is that I think it's insane where people attack anything that's for a kid's audience. It's like, wait a second, these are essentially characters in tights. There's nothing realistic about this scenario at all. It's fantastical. There should be a place for comics for kids. So I don't really think this is talking about me because I'm not 40, but it seems like they're kind of deflecting their criticism here. Like, he thinks it's insane where people attack anything that's for a kid's audience. Just because it's for kids doesn't mean it's free of criticism. I'm not telling kids what to like and what not to like, but I sure will point out where your comedy and story fails. Like, I get what they're saying, and it's great that they want to write these characters that are for kids. It is wonderful. Of course, kids should have superheroes. Superheroes are made for kids. I don't want every superhero series to be like The Dark Knight Rises, but I really don't think they understood the original Teen Titans show very well. It was a big hit with kids, and it's not like it took itself ultra seriously all the time. There was an episode where Robin was away and everyone else was like trying on his tights and utility belt. There was an episode that involved Beast Boy, some weird alien tofu, and cows getting abducted. This is what I was getting at with my last rant. There's a difference between a show that is super serious, a show that is super silly, and a show that is able to balance both of them. The original Teen Titans balanced both of them, and they act as if there are no superheroes for kids. When Cartoon Network's churned out quite a few of them, like Ben 10, Young Justice, Generator Rex, I feel like these guys just don't understand what cartoons have been like recently. It's like they came on the scene, they took one glance at Steven Universe and said, who wants to watch a cartoon with people crying? This isn't what kids want. Kids want wall-to-wall stupidity, loudness, and randomness. Cartoon Network's actually done a lot of superhero shows, both past and present. Maybe in the comic industry and the movie industry and live-action television industries have had a lot of superheroes that have gone darker and more for adults, but as far as cartoons go, they've always marketed them towards kids. They just happen to attract a peripheral audience because they're usually written pretty well. What I find a little odd about this is that this guy finds it weird that people don't move on to other characters when all they're doing is taking characters that they're familiar with and making them child-friendly, so to speak. Maybe you should just let the fans have what they want. I mean, they are the fans after all. Why don't you move on to different superheroes and create something new? Heck, it's not like there's not already a million other characters in the DC universe that you could make a TV show out of that have never had a TV show before. We have This Is How Stupid We Are. We have an episode about a bathroom. It starts off with some characters. They have to use the bathroom. And a creative exec came to us and said, by the way, having characters stand outside a bathroom needing to go is never, ever funny. Never funny? Never funny, so don't do it. On any show I've been on, it's never funny. Never funny? And we took that as a challenge, laughs. So we extended the whole moment to super long proportions. We put a musical number in there about holding your pee, and that actually is my favorite song. So look for it in the episode. It's called Serious Business. I don't really think I need to make any comments here, other than the fact that they have an episode called Let's Get Serious and Serious Business, which irks me, but considering everything else, it probably wasn't even worth mentioning. I have to actually give you guys a warning here, because they're about to talk about their comedy theory. What you're gonna hear might infuriate you, but just remember, it's a cartoon, it really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but in terms of actually writing a cartoon, this is pretty bad. We have no theory. I don't know. We're both pretty stupid, right? Yeah, that's fair to say. We both despise borrowing comedy. We see that all the time. People taking comedy from other shows and putting it in their show and passing it off as their own. Animation is the worst offender. That's called stealing. We want to just do something different, even if it seems like it's not well thought out or doesn't seem like we're trying. Our goal is to do something new and interesting. Occasionally, we do steal. Subconsciously, mostly. Yeah, it's always accidental. Accidental thievery. It's really easy to steal. We have like 104 episodes, so it's really easy to borrow from other sources. But we just rely on what makes us laugh and try to do stupid stuff. I always tell everyone, our theory is be stupid. Don't try to make smart comedy. I don't want to hear clever wordplay. That's what really kills us. For me personally, it's cartoons that have to have a morality tale shoehorned in, and cartoons that rely way too heavily on verbal humor bum me out. I like to see people get hit in the face, sometimes in the genitals. I actually agree with them. You know, doing things new and different, that is actually what I preach a lot, you know, instead of just using stock plots and stock characters and stuff. It's great to do things that are new and different. And stealing is the worst. I really hate it when shows steal things from other places. It's not like Teen Titans Go did an episode ripping on the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. It's not like you did a really lame parody of the DuckTales theme song, and it's certainly not like they literally took clips from the original show and reused them by overdubbing them in their lousy show. Oh, they wouldn't do that. That would be stealing, and so unoriginal, because Teen Titans Go might be self-admittedly random and stupid. They might not put much thought into the things that they do. They self-admittedly don't want anything close to intelligent humor, but if it's one thing Teen Titans Go has, it certainly is originality. See, when you watch the episodes of Teen Titans Go, you're thinking to yourself, did they really just like not put much time into this? Do they really care that these jokes are really infantile? And the truth of the matter is, straight from the horse's mouth, they really don't care that much. They clearly want to make an incredibly stupid show. And that's why I think it's the worst currently out there, because I don't think I've ever seen creators of a show, while the show was still airing, talk so horribly about their own show in such a casual manner. Like, I've seen people talk about what a mess certain shows were, because, production got bad, or this reason or that reason, but these people are just saying, yeah, our show is really stupid. What do I really say to that? They're right. Their show is stupid. There are so many people out there that aspire to make cartoons, aspire to make people laugh, aspire to tell stories, and it just feels like this show is absolutely and totally wasted on these people. I don't mean to call them out. I'm sure they're fine people in real life, but based on these interviews of them calling their own show stupid, what am I supposed to take away from that? In a way, I guess they're geniuses. They write the most idiotic material, and yet their show is still immensely popular. I guess they just want to be as stupid and random as possible. They just want to be like Family Guy for kids. I guess at the end of the day with a show like this, as long as it's funny, it's a good show. So as long as kids find it funny, then to them it certainly is a good show. It's just one of those shows that has literally nothing else going for it. So if you don't find it funny, then it is just absolutely terrible. I don't really care that much that they wanted to make a show that was off the wall stupid. I think it's stupid, but I wouldn't have cared if it didn't involve the Teen Titans. Why would you involve a pre-existing franchise in your show that is literally trying to be as stupid as possible? Why would you take something complex and interesting and make it, in your own words, very stupid. No duh, you're gonna piss off the fans. It's not because you made the characters more child-friendly or childlike or more funny and comedic. It's that you made everything really, really stupid. PIEGUYRULZ out.